Is everybody okay?
Hippies aren't. That's for goddamn sure.
From red carpets to the silver screen, Jane Davis was the epitome of Hollywood glamour. She had it all: the looks, the fame, and the perfect life in the world's most dazzling industry. But beneath the bright lights, her world was far from the picture-perfect dream that the public saw. In a shocking turn of events, the beloved star's life was cut short, and her tragic end would send shockwaves through Hollywood. What happened on the night of Jane's murder? Was it love gone wrong, or something even darker lurking behind the scenes? This is the untold story of a star's tragic fall from grace. The rise of a Hollywood darling. Jane Davis was a force to be reckoned with in Hollywood during the 1950s. Born with striking beauty and a natural acting talent, she quickly captured the hearts of audiences and critics alike. Her big break came when she landed a leading role in a blockbuster film, and from there, her career skyrocketed. Jane's movies were successful at the box office, and her charm and grace made her a beloved figure in Hollywood's golden age. She became a frequent presence at glamorous events, from red carpet premieres to exclusive parties, cementing her status as a rising star. Behind the scenes, Jane was the picture of success, with everything going for her. Her career was at its peak, and she seemed to be living the life every aspiring actress dreamed of. She was frequently photographed by paparazzi, her image gracing the covers of magazines, and her name mentioned alongside the biggest stars of the era. But despite her fame and fortune, there was a growing sense that something wasn't quite right beneath the surface. Jane's picture-perfect life seemed too good to be true, and soon, darker elements would begin to unfold in her world. The love affair that shocked Hollywood. At the height of her career, Jane Davis' personal life became just as captivating as her professional one. She began a highly publicized romance with Richard Kane, a well-known film director in Hollywood. Their love affair caused a media frenzy, with tabloids eager to report on every detail of their relationship. Richard, a successful director with a reputation for being intense and passionate, seemed like the perfect match for the stunning and talented Jane. Their chemistry on screen translated into real life, and their whirlwind romance was everything the public adored: glamorous, passionate, and full of drama. However, behind the scenes, the relationship began to take a darker turn. While their love was initially thrilling, it soon became clear that Richard's obsession with Jane was growing, and his jealousy was becoming suffocating. His controlling nature started to surface, and those who were close to Jane noticed a change in her demeanor. The once confident actress began to appear anxious and uneasy, and whispers of tension and conflict between the couple began to circulate. The public's fascination with their relationship only intensified, but the truth was, Jane was caught in a toxic and dangerous love affair that would eventually lead to her tragic end. The dark turn. As Jane Davis and Richard Kane's relationship deepened, so did the troubling signs that something was terribly wrong. Those close to Jane began to notice her transformation from a confident and outgoing star to a more reserved and anxious woman. Richard's possessiveness became more apparent, and he grew increasingly jealous of Jane's success and interactions with other men in the industry. Friends and colleagues reported hearing loud arguments between the two, often marked by Richard's outbursts and threats. Jane, once the epitome of Hollywood glamour, now appeared on edge, her bright smile often replaced by a look of unease. The intensity of their relationship, which had once seemed like the perfect love story, was now dominated by fear and manipulation. Jane's carefully curated public image started to crack as she struggled to hide the emotional toll her love affair with Richard was taking on her. Rumors swirled that Richard had even resorted to controlling her every move, limiting her social interactions and isolating her from friends. The once glamorous star was now trapped in a toxic cycle, unable to escape the grip of a man whose love had turned dangerous. What had once been a fairy tale romance had morphed into a nightmare, and Jane found herself unable to break free. The fateful night. On the night of March 3, 1957, Jane Davis' life would tragically come to an end. The details of that night remained shrouded in mystery, but the outcome was undeniable. Jane was found dead in her luxurious Beverly Hills mansion, her body discovered by her housekeeper in a state of violent disarray. It was clear that a struggle had taken place, with furniture overturned and broken glass scattered across the floor. The scene was chilling, and investigators immediately suspected foul play. The initial examination revealed that Jane had suffered multiple injuries, and there were signs of a violent confrontation. Despite the signs of a struggle, Jane's death was not immediately explained. The authorities began to search for clues that might point to a motive or a suspect, but the scene provided little in the way of answers. Jane's once beautiful home now stood as a haunting crime scene, with no indication of what had truly happened. Richard Kane, her lover, was nowhere to be found, and his disappearance only deepened the mystery. As the investigation unfolded, it became clear that the true extent of the dark forces at play in Jane's life had yet to be fully revealed. What led to this shocking and violent end, and was Richard involved in the tragedy? The investigation had only just begun, but the answers were far from clear. The investigation and suspects. As soon as the news of Jane Davis' murder spread, the police began an intense investigation into her death. Richard Kane quickly became the prime suspect, largely due to the tumultuous and increasingly violent nature of their relationship. Witnesses came forward, recounting the many heated arguments they had witnessed between the couple, as well as Richard's jealous and controlling behavior. Some even recalled hearing threats from Richard towards Jane, suggesting that he might have been capable of violence. Despite these troubling reports, the police couldn't find any direct evidence linking him to the murder. The case took an even darker turn when Richard was nowhere to be found. The police searched high and low, but Richard seemed to have vanished into thin air. His sudden disappearance raised further suspicions. As the investigation continued, shocking details about his past came to light. Richard had a history of volatile relationships, and several of his previous partners had reported similar abusive behavior. The more the authorities uncovered, the more it seemed like Jane had been trapped in a deadly cycle of manipulation and control. But despite the mounting evidence and the public's belief in Richard's involvement, the mystery of Jane's death remained unresolved, leaving a chilling question lingering in the air. Did Richard murder her, or was there someone else behind the tragedy? The tragic end and lasting legacy. The investigation into Jane Davis' murder came to a haunting conclusion when Richard Kane was eventually found dead in a remote cabin, an apparent suicide. The discovery only deepened the mystery surrounding Jane's death. Did Richard take his own life out of guilt for what he had done, or had he been involved in something more sinister? The police were never able to definitively answer these questions, and the case was left without closure. Richard's death meant that the possibility of finding the true culprit behind Jane's tragic murder seemed to slip further away, leaving investigators and the public with more questions than answers. Despite the unresolved nature of her murder, Jane Davis' legacy as a Hollywood icon endured. Her films, which had once captured the hearts of millions, continue to be celebrated, and she remains a symbol of beauty, talent, and ambition. But her tragic end serves as a stark reminder of the darker side of fame and the hidden dangers that can lie beneath a glamorous public life. Jane's story is a haunting example of how the brightest stars can often be caught in the most tragic circumstances. Even today, her name is remembered not only for her accomplishments in film, but for the mystery surrounding her untimely death. The tragic story of Jane Davis serves as a chilling reminder that even in the glitz and glamour of Hollywood, darkness can lurk just beneath the surface. While her legacy as a beloved star endures, the mystery of her untimely death continues to haunt those who followed her story. Was it love gone wrong, or something far more sinister? Her tragic end remains unresolved, but it's a stark reminder of the hidden dangers that come with fame. As we remember Jane, we're left with one haunting question. What truly happened behind those closed doors? If you're captivated by tales of Hollywood's darkest secrets, don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned for more.